This video is for quadratic equations in vertex form. So vertex form is where h comma k is the vertex of the parabola. And so remember your h is the opposite of what it's listed here. So you can convert back to standard form using FOIL, or you can find your points. So we know that h and k are going to be our vertex. And so since this is -2, that would be a +2. So 2, 3 would be our vertex, which means our axis of symmetry would be x equals 2. Our domain would be all real numbers. And then our range would be y is greater than or equal to 3. And so you can type this in your calculator to get your table. All right, so we would do x minus 2 squared plus 3. And so you can graph it so you can get an idea of what it would look like. And then you can also go to your table so you can fill in your table. And so I always put the vertex as, oh, that should have gone up one. So we'll make a row as the middle point in the table. And then I kind of go up from there. So here's my 2, 3. So I would just do 0 and 1, and then we can do 3 and 4 here. So straight off the table, if x is 0, y is 7. If x is 1, y is 4. If x is 3, y is 4. And if x is 4, then y is 7. And so you can graph this. So since we know the vertex is at 2, 3, and then we know we've got points here and here, and then at, let's see, 0, 7, and then 4, 7. And so there would be our parabola. All right, so another example. So again, we can find our vertex. Since this says +3, it would be a -3. And then this is a -1. So -3, -1 would be our vertex. X equals -3 would be our axis of symmetry. Our domain would be all real numbers. And then my range would be y is greater than or equal to -1. So again, I always make my vertex kind of my middle value in my table. And so again, we can just graph this. So we have 2 x plus 3 squared minus 1. And we can go look at our table here. So we do -3, let's see, -4, -5. All right, so if x is -5, y is a 7. If x is -4, y is a 1. If x is -2, y is a 1. And if x is -1, y is a +7. So we can graph our vertex at -3, -1, and then we've got -4, -4, +1, and then -2, +1, and then -5, and we go up here to 7, and then -1, 7. And so there would be your parabola. So again, in vertex form, whatever number is in front of the parentheses would be an A. This is the amount of rise for every 1 unit of run. It's like finding your slope. It also determines how wide or narrow the parabola is, as well as facing up or down. So remember, if it's a positive number, it's going to be a smile. If it's a negative number, it's going to be a frown. H, K, so these two values here are going to be the vertex. And it's also going to give you, it's going to be either the minimum or the maximum, again, depending on whether it opens up or if it opens down. H is the horizontal shift of the parabola from that parent function. I don't know if you remember doing that a couple days ago. It shows us if we're going to move x over or right, left or right. And then K is the vertical shift, so how much we move it up or down. So how to write an equation in vertex form from a graph. So you're going to find the vertex of the graph. So for example, this one would be right here. So the vertex here would be 2, 1. And then you find a slope from the vertex next to the point. Okay, so we found the vertex, and then we find the slope from the vertex to the next point on the right. So the next nice point here would be at 0, 3. So you would go down 1 over 1, which would be a negative 1. So your equation here would be y equals negative x minus 2 squared plus 1. So here's the 2, here's the 1. All right, so on this one, our vertex is there at, let's see, 2, -4. So we want to find the next pretty point, which would be here. So we would go up 1 over 1. So we'd have a slope of 1. So y equals, and it would just be x. So again, this is a positive 2. So it would be x minus 2 squared and then minus 4. So that's it for this video.